For a lot of people, making better financial decisions is one of their main goals in 2026. Whether it's spending less, investing more, or just cutting out unnecessary spending. That's why in this video, I wanted to talk about 7 things that I'm either no longer buying or paying for in 2026. In this video, the things I'll talk about, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing mindset. Even if you significantly reduce the amount you spend on these things, you'll be much better off by the end of the year. So let's get into it. Number 1 is interest payment. It actually blows my mind how you can use Affirm and get a payment plan for anything. You go to Chipotle, get a $12 burrito, and pay that in installments. But that $12 burrito is going to end up costing $50. Interest is one of those things I try to avoid at all costs. Outside of when I eventually want to purchase a home, I don't want to pay interest on anything. In short, interest doesn't interest me. So how do I go about this? I do things like paying off my credit card in whole every single month. And also, I make sure that anything I am buying on my credit card is money that I have, that I know I'll have at the end of the month to pay it off in full. Realistically, you should try to avoid interest payment at all costs. And even if it is for bigger purchases, one thing I would rather do is buy something that costs a little bit less, but I know I can pay off in full in one shot and not have to pay interest. Last year, I had to buy a new car because my old car was breaking down. So when I purchased it, I made sure that I bought a card that I knew I could pay in cash full. Because at the time, the interest payments would have been 6% a month, which is actually insane to just pay the bank 6% more on a car that's already going to be depreciating. It made no sense to me. So I made sure I bought a car that was within my budget of something I could pay off in one shot in cash. The number 2 thing is doing a subscription audit. For many of us, we have many monthly subscriptions. Just going through and seeing what all is actually necessary versus what is not really necessary, and reducing even a few different subscriptions a month will add up over time. For many of us, these subscriptions include things like streaming services. Realistically, do we need every single streaming service? Hulu, HBO, Netflix, Peacock, Paramount. Yeah, maybe you use 1 or 2, but the chances are you're not using every single one of them. For non-streaming subscriptions, there's usually a free alternative to whatever the subscription is. One example of this is for the iPhone. I always run out of storage, mainly because I have a lot of photos and videos on my phone. And so it asked me if I want to pay like the $3 a month to get iCloud. But for me personally, I don't want to spend $3 a month for however long I own this iPhone. So I go through and find free workaround, which is just to delete apps. And as I've started to delete apps, I realized how many apps I don't even need. It's not like I'm deleting important apps like my banking app, but it's deleting random apps off my phone that I never use. And that saves me enough space so I don't need to go ahead and pay that $3.99 a month or whatever it is. It might take a little bit more work, but in my opinion, there's a lot of apps that prey on just being more convenient and easy thing to do. And if you can just get rid of that, you'll be saving so much money. And that goes really well into my third thing that I'm not paying for in 2026, fee of convenience. This goes for things like Uber Eats delivery, grocery delivery, pretty much anything that involves delivery and having to pay a fee for that, I'm trying to avoid in 2026. Another thing is just eating out when I'm too lazy to cook. That just preys on it being convenient and me being lazy. It's so much cheaper just to cook at home and eat at home than it is to go out and eat. So kind of my rule of thumb in 2026 when it comes to eating out is I'm only going to eat out when it's with friends or family. I'm not going to go out and eat by myself. And I think that will save me a lot of money. And it'll force me into that, just stop being lazy. Because most of the times, it's not that I can't cook or I don't have groceries, or it's just that I'm too lazy to do it. And that ends up costing me. And that same goes for delivery. If I do end up ordering something on Uber Eats, let's say, I'm going to choose the pickup option because those delivery fees add up and they cost so much money that it makes the meal not even worth it. Again, if you can just cut out paying so much for convenience, you're going to save so much money because a lot of these companies prey on people just being lazy and not wanting to do the extra little bit of work. Number 4 is quality over price. For a lot of people, when it comes to saving money, what they want to do is just buy the cheapest thing possible because that obviously is saving money. But in the long term, that usually catches up to people. The cheapest thing generally breaks down much quicker and doesn't have as good of warranties or policies for replacement. So you end up having to spend more money in the long run because you have to keep buying new things. For me, I'd rather invest in a very high quality item once and have that last a lifetime. For me, one example of this is when I graduated college, I had a mattress that I bought at that time. It was a very cheap one. It was like $100, $200, something like that. And it broke down in such short amount of time, like 2 years. My back was hurting. I was having really bad back problems, and the mattress, I was not getting good sleep. In reality, I could have gone to Amazon and just bought another $200 mattress. And then in 2 years, I would have to buy another $200 mattress, and then another $200 mattress. Rather than that, I just invested in a very high quality mattress that cost more money. For one, was getting better sleep. Number two, I was not waking up in pain because my back was hurting. And number three, the warranty policy on the new, more expensive, nicer mattress was way better. It has a lifetime guarantee. If there's ever any problems, I can go to the company and they will send me a fix. In my opinion, finding high quality items and buying them once is much more economical than buying the cheapest version all the time. Number 5 is buying things that go out of style very quick. This is something I'm trying to avoid in 2026. Now, this goes a lot for like clothes. It's very easy to go and just buy fast fashion and buy whatever's trendy, but those things after a couple of years is just gonna go in the garbage. So not only is it bad for the environment, it's also bad for your wallet. Nowadays, I don't really buy clothes that much, but if I do have to buy clothes, I wanna buy clothes that are gonna be versatile, number one, and number two, are gonna still look good in 3 to 5 years. Recently, for a gift, my girlfriend wanted to buy me a button-down shirt. And so when I was looking at different button-down shirts that I was wanting, there was a lot of cool ones, like cool colors, and all these cool styles that I was like, whoa, these are unique, these are cool. But I ended up just going with the plain white and blue stripes one because one, it's a classic colorway, and number two, it's very versatile. I can wear it for pretty much any occasion. Dressing it up, dressing it down, it's never gonna clash. And number three, it's gonna still be in style in 5 years. When has a white button down with blue stripes ever not been a good look? Back in the day, those bulky shoes were super cool. Everybody wanted them and they were super expensive. But who wears those nowadays? Versus a pair of just regular white leather shoes has always stood this test of time. So when you're buying things, especially like clothes, try to avoid trends and try to avoid buying things that are cool in the moment but aren't gonna hold the test of time. Long story short, I don't wanna buy unique items that are not functional. Number 6 is I'm not going to be buying exclusively new things in 2026. Buying new things are always fun and exciting, but almost all the time you can buy a used version for significantly less and you avoid the depreciation cost of whatever it was that you were gonna buy. There's always great deals on used things. One example of this is furniture. If you're planning on moving or need furniture for wherever you're living, buying used furniture is such a hack because most of the time when people are selling furniture, they have somewhere, they're leaving somewhere, meaning they don't have time to sit there and haggle, and they're usually willing to give you a steep discount just to get it out of wherever they're leaving. Recently, one of my friends in the same apartment building as me is leaving the state, so he's getting rid of his couch and desk, and he's giving me a deal for it for $300. The couch itself was over $1,000. So I'm getting a steep discount just because it's such less work for him to just move it to me rather than trying to find a buyer. Another thing you could do is, so you're looking at electronics, look for the refurbished options. Those are always pretty good deals. Things like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, or even refurbished on different sites like Best Buy are all great options because you're gonna be saving money, but still getting a very high quality item. Number 7, and this one is probably the hardest one for me, which is I wanna cut out social spending, or at least greatly reduce it. What do I mean by social spending? How many times have we been in a situation where we're out at a restaurant or a bar, we're with friends and family, and we end up spending way too much money than we anticipated? I feel like this is just social spending. You know, when I'm at a bar, it's very hard for me to say no to go buying a drink if everyone else is buying a drink. But I'm not even one who really enjoys drinking or enjoys the taste of alcohol. So usually it's never worth it because the drinks when you go out are so expensive too. It's like $20 for a cocktail or like $15 for a beer. And it's like, I'm not even getting the value of it and I don't even like the taste. So it's pointless. So that's one thing I'm really trying to cut back on is just social spending, because a lot of times when you go out, the value of going out is hanging out with friends and family and being with their company. You don't need to have a drink or a big plate of food or whatever to really get the value out of it. So that might consist of me doing things like eating at home before I go out, or if I'm at the bar, just getting water or a soda or something like that. Because at the end of the day, for me, the value of hanging out with my friends is the company and the conversation, and is not the drinks or the overpriced food. This isn't me saying I'm never gonna go out and hang out with my friends and have a drink or go out and have dinner with my friends. No. But the point is, it doesn't need to be every single time. And even if you can reduce it some of the time, majority of the time, you're gonna be saving so much money over the year. At the end of the day, this video isn't about being cheap or sucking the joy out of life by never spending money. But if you can reduce the cost in maybe these 7 areas, you're gonna be saving so much money, and it really doesn't make your life that much different. At the end of the day, it's about being intentional with your spending rather than just blowing your money on anything and everything. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are there any other things that you're planning on not spending money on this year? What's something that you feel like I missed? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.